everything that I lead you through is an invitation. So don't get hung up on how it looks. I'm much more invested in how it feels. My intention is that you step off of the mat feeling better than you did stepping on. So, is today a hot day? Today might be a hot day. Yeah. So we're going to start in a comfortable seated position. You might be sitting in a chair at work, or you might be seated on the floor. If you are seated on the floor, I like to sit cross-legged. It's called Sukhasana in Sanskrit. And if sitting cross-legged makes it difficult to sit up tall, you might just elevate your hips up on a blanket or a block or stacked books to get your hips higher than your knees. And that should alleviate a lot of the tension in your hips and any pain in the lower back you might be experiencing. Either way, seated up tall, the chest comes up over the hips, head over heart. Hands come to rest on the lap, either palms down to ground down, or palms up to give and receive energy if you feel you've got a little extra to give today. And eyes can close if that's comfortable for you, if not, lowering to a soft gaze. We'll start with 3 cleansing breaths. In through the nose, shoulders rise up towards the ears, and out through the mouth with an audible sigh, shoulders drop down and away. And allow the breath to continue in and out through the nose at a natural pace. We'll take a moment here just to arrive. Let go of everything that came before and everything that's to come up after. Become present to yourself here in this moment. Here in this space. Begin to allow sounds into your awareness. Perhaps the sound of passing traffic outside your window. The sound of pets or roommates shuffling within your home. Allow all sounds in all part of this moment, this experience. Notice the temperature of the air on your skin. Feel the weight where your body makes contact with the ground below you. The weight of your hands on your knees. We'll begin to scan the body from head down towards toes. Checking in for any places of tightness or sensitivity. Any restlessness or fidgeting. Just taking note to work into the places that call out for your attention throughout your movement practice here today. We'll shift that awareness from the physical body, Annamaya Kosha, to the energetic body, Pranamaya Kosha. Noticing where you're at energetically on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being exhausted, fatigued, ready to crawl into bed. 10 being so full of energy, it's hard to sit still. And shift that awareness up to the breath. No need to change it, just observe inhalations, exhalations, and whatever space in between. And shifting the awareness, the attention up to the mind, Manomaya Kosha. Allowing thoughts and feelings to arise freely and observing them from a distance, like a film being projected onto a screen. No need to engage. The story goes on without your direct input. Notice what are the quality of the thoughts today. Do they have a positive or a negative tilt to them? Are they ruminating on the past or attempting to predict the future? Not right or wrong, not good or bad, just something to notice. We'll bring that attention back down to the breath. This time actively expanding the breath. Every inhale sips in a little more air. And every exhale lets something more go. Breathing deeply into the belly. Belly expands, widening, ribs widening horizontally, inflating. And exhale, pulls belly in, belly button in towards spine, knits the ribs in, expelling all of the air from the lungs. Inhale, fills belly, fills lungs. And exhale, complete exhalation. We'll add on our pranayama, our breathing exercise that we're working on this month. It's called Ujjayi Pranayama, victorious breath, or is also known as ocean sounding breath. So continue our deep belly breathing, our deep belly breaths. When you said here, welcome in, you made it just in time for our pranayama, our breath practice. We'll bring a slight constriction to the throat so that you can actually hear the air that's coming in in through the nose and out through the nose. Almost like you're trying to fog up a mirror in front of your face with your nose. So you want these breaths to be nice and long, slow and smooth, and loud enough that if you were in a yoga studio, the person on the mat next to you could hear your breath, but maybe the person 2 mats down couldn't. You'll notice your breath might resemble the sound of waves at the ocean where it gets its name. Make sure you're seated up tall with a little space between top and bottom teeth. Jaw hangs heavy. Tongue falls away from the roof of the mouth. Shoulders gently pulled back, keeping the chest open as we continue the breath through the nose with a slight constriction in the throat. And if the mind wanders, bring it back to the breath. On your next exhale, releasing any constriction in the throat, returning to a natural breath's pace, perhaps affected by that pranayama, that breathing exercise. You can give your throat a little swallow to release any tension that was built up during that practice. So you practice pranayama, these breathing techniques to build up prana or life force, also to build up a relationship with the breath so that we can work with it as a tool to help calm ourselves out of a sympathetic fight or flight mode and into parasympathetic rest and digest. Bring your hands to meet at heart center in prayer pose. No space between the fingers and the thumbs press into the sternum. Consider here setting an intention or dedication for your practice. It might be the sankalpa you've been working with, your heart's desire. It might be your New Year's resolution. Something new might have brought you to your mat today. The invitation is just to set that intention in the present tense and the affirmative. For example, it might sound something like, I flow through life with ease and grace. Or I am resilient. And we'll seal that intention with the sound of Om. You're invited to chant along with me, of course. First, a cleansing breath. Release your hands to your lap, chin drops towards chest. And on an inhale, right ear rolls over towards right shoulder. Exhaling, chin to chest, and left ear towards left shoulder. Just allowing the head to gently rock side to side. Beginning to open up space between neck and shoulders, ear and shoulders. We'll bring the head back through center, bringing it up to neutral. Begin to roll the shoulders forward. Your dog really likes that mat behind you. I know, no, dogs dogs really love yoga mats because they're like grippy. So I think they like the feel underneath their paws. Sit a little bit this way. So cute. So opening up the space, the upper back between the shoulder blades. Back home on the East Coast where I had like multiple yoga mats, I'd roll one out for Lucy while I was practicing. That way I could have my mat without having to kick her off. We'll roll the shoulders back. And just gently inviting movement into the body. And coming to stillness in the shoulders, arms sweep up overhead with a deep breath in. And exhale, bend over to the right. Left arm reaches over, keeping the left hip glued to the ground. Inhale up through center. And exhale over to the left. Just beginning to calibrate movement and breath here. Going at your own body's speed. We got one more to each side. I would like to try yoga one day because it looks like something different and I like to try different things. Well, you are welcome to join in anytime, any day. Back up through center, arms sweep up. And exhaling, take a twist to the right. Left hand lands on the knee, right hand lands behind you. Chest open to the side wall. Inhale back up through center. And exhale over to the left. So just out of curiosity, Emmanuel's, we're just connecting this to movement. So inhale up through center and exhale to twist, alternating which side. Emmanuel's, what is in between you joining in? Like what's in the way, what's stopping you from just trying it out, I wonder, if you feel comfortable sharing. The next time the arms come up through center, we'll bend in the elbows and hands come to ear height. And we'll wave the hands out. Just beginning to warm up the muscles, the tendons, the ligaments in the hands. Nice and gentle. Manuals, I don't know why, but that's a tough question. Okay. Well, just know that you can join in at any point in class. You don't have to do the whole thing from the start. If that's intimidating to you, you can always just do some of these like seated poses and movements, then hands drop down. Just the hands are going side to side, fingers wiggling. We're not moving the elbows, we're just working on warming up the wrists and hands. Some anti-carpal tunnel practices here. Come Thursday for chair yoga. Yeah, on Thursday I'm teaching a chair yoga class, guys. Same time, same place. Homework and school is a pretty big thing. Ah, yes. But you'd be surprised, yoga can actually help with, help undo some of the stress of work and school. Palms flip up towards the sky, fingers spread wide, and we rotate the hands. So I'm really trying to press my fingers back here, as if my fingernails are going to touch my forearm. I started practicing yoga in high school when like everything in my life was an effing disaster. And it was like the only place I felt safe. And like seen just like as a human being instead of a problem to solve. Or like somebody to calm down. So, I don't know. I don't think there's really a bad time to start and shake off water on your hands. Just nice and gentle. 3, 2, 1. Would be a good substitute for yoga pants. Actually, I started practicing yoga before before Lululemon was a company. That's how old I am. So like yoga pants, like leggings weren't even a thing. So you can literally do them in like basketball shorts. Do yoga in like basketball shorts. Or like anything that's kind of like stretchy. So even if it's not super stretchy, like whatever pants you wear hiking would also work, like track pants. Alright. I'm going to bring the fingers to the jawline. Just like jeans is not going to really work that great. But I've totally done yoga in like denim shorts before. But don't recommend it. No, definitely not. Sweatpants is fine. You probably won't break into a sweat. Not during chair yoga. For sure not in chair yoga. So, we're going to take our fingers and just zoom it out a bit. Like an inch or so. We're going to begin sliding the head from side to side. So mindful, the shoulders aren't moving to assist in this position. Nope. They just stay relaxed. And the head's not turning, so we're not doing this. No nodding the head. We're just sliding. And if this is too far away, you just bring your fingers in closer. So you start with really small movements. And we're still breathing, so there's always like kind of a multitask here happening as you continue the breath and work into the movement. So we're opening up some spaces in the neck, releasing some tension, building up some muscles. It's all very subtle and small, but it makes a really big difference. And alleviating neck pain and undoing some of that looking down that we do all day. Or most of us do. I don't want to project my experience onto your experience. 3, 2, 1. Alright, just drop the head side to side. If that movement's really frustrating for you, you're not alone. A lot of people message me about how frustrating that is because they feel like they should be able to do it really easily and then they find out that they can't. It's not even that they can't, it's just like they haven't quite figured out how to coordinate the muscles that it takes to do that. So it's okay. Even if you feel frustrated, it's okay too. It all takes time. Let's work on some more neck resiliency. Just turning to the side so that you can see what we're doing here, but you can stay facing forward. Still seated up nice and tall. Chin tucks down towards chest. We're leading with the nose. Nose is reaching down, down, down. Head comes forward, up, back, and then chin tucks back down. So making a nice big circle with the nose to the edges of your range of motion in the neck. Shoulders stay relaxed. Just the head and neck are moving here. Also, if you don't have like gym clothes, you can literally, since we're all home, just wear like pajama pants, and that would work just fine. So here we're working on opening up the mobility in the cervical spine, in the neck. Imagine, visualize, and work towards every vertebra in your neck moving freely, smoothly, and independently. And we'll change directions. Now we're going to be leading with the chin. Chin reaches all the way up, all the way forward, down, and pulls back in. Keep the breath strong. Last cycle. And back to center. You can just give the head a look left and right, undoing any tension that built up. And we'll extend the legs out in front. Legs extend out in front, spread and scrunch the toes. Start. Spread and scrunch the toes. Roll out the ankles. Just beginning to wake up the lower legs. Feet. Change directions. Knees bend, feet come flat onto the ground. We'll drop the knees side to side, just waking up the hips. Nice and gentle. Hello, I just got here a little bit ago. Welcome. Sancho Bermuda. Well, it's a good time to show up because we are still warming up the body. We're just wrapping up the warm-up positions. And now's a good time to join. So the washings and rinsing of the hands, shaking of the hands dry was the beginning. Yeah, that's only like maybe 3 or 4 movements in. And before that we do like a grounding like meditation. So for the movement part, you're here like the first 15 minutes for sure. So bring your hands down to frame this right foot coming into tabletop pose. And tabletop is hands under shoulders, knees below hips, feet on your dog. Okay. On an inhale, you're welcome. On an inhale, belly drops, chest and hips rise. I'm pressing my hands down and back, knees down and forward, like I'm scrunching if I was on the mat. Like I'm trying to scrunch my mat together for cow pose, arching the spine. And exhale, rounding in the spine, chin tucks in towards chest. My hands are pressing down and forward, knees are pressing down and back, like I'm trying to spread the mat below me apart. Following the breath in for cow pose, out for cat. Beginning to calibrate with your own breath. Let the speed of your body be informed by the length of your breath. On the next exhale, no rush to get there, releasing back to neutral. We'll work on some hand resiliency here. We're going to turn the hands out to 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock. And then let the weight shift over the left shoulder and the right shoulder. Fingers spread wide. Fingers spread wide. And we don't let the wrist rise up. If you feel like you still got quite a bit of space here, you can bring your hands even closer. You can always leave them just under your shoulders if that's already intense enough. So you want this to be like at an 8th intensity, so it's not comfortable. Like if this feels really easy to you, you're probably not going far enough. You just want to reach that edge really slowly and mindfully. You don't want to snap back and forth. So we're building up our wrist strength, our wrist resiliency here. You know, God forbid you slip on ice and fall. You want your wrist to stand a chance, considering you probably use your hands for basically everything in your life. So we're building up that resiliency and in the joints. A little bit, day by day. The next time you find your weight over the right wrist to that edge, right? We're going to hold it there and the breathing continues. So we hold the posture, but not the breath. And when I say the edge, it's like the boundary. Like if you went any further, it would hurt, like potentially injuring you or like take your breath away. Like once something is taking your breath away in a posture, you've gone too far. Even if you physically can get there, you actually probably shouldn't be there. Can't be there safely without injury. And we're going to bring it over to the left. So the edge, you're just pressing right up against it, right before. And that's how you will increase your flexibility and kind of challenge your joints to kind of upgrade. So if they're never put in a position of stress, like intentional stress, then if something shocking happens out of nowhere, they won't know how to handle it. Yeah, a lot of things just kind of happen automatically. So we want to have that resiliency so that if something does go wrong, we kind of stand a chance. And this is also helping undo, like I said, like an anti-carpal tunnel sequence. We're helping undo a lot of texting, typing, drawing, writing, steering wheel gripping, if that makes sense. Bring it back to center, tuck the toes under. We'll sit back on the heels. Give the wrists a little, almost like you're washing your hands, but just on your wrists. A little massage. Doing that, fingers interlace. And you can just roll the wrists out. So notice my toes are tucked under, so I'm giving my feet and my toes a deep stretch. If you've been working on this toe stretch for, the last couple months here, and you're like, yeah, I'm feeling really confident, like I could sit in this forever, then just lean back a little bit. That's going to bring more weight onto your feet. And if you're just starting this practice out with the feet, and you're like, oh my gosh, forget my wrists, my toes are going to fall off, then you're right where you need to be to build up that endurance in this toe stretch posture. So we're just here for 3, 2, 1. Back to tabletop pose, untuck the toes. Oh, they're so cute, I don't want to wake them up. Okay, well, you guys should be on your mat, by the way. I try to mention this every class because I'm like always on the floor, but it's carpet, it's squishy, but you want to be on the mat so that your knees are happy with you. We're going to step the right foot up between the hands. Left toes tuck under, extending the leg back behind you. So I'm up on my back toes. I keep my right knee over my right ankle. And I'm just bringing the heel forward and back in my left foot to start to open up the space in my calf muscle. Cody, I can't imagine you having cats. You can't imagine having cats? Why? Your day would just be interrupted. Oh my gosh, you guys have no idea. I spend like so much time just cuddling with the dogs and like walking them. they could sit, if Lucy could sit in my lap while I was painting, I would let her. But she's too big. 2, 1. Alright, so I'm just gently going to release this left knee down to the mat, untuck the toes, and press the shoelace part of my foot into the ground so hard that the knee would lift. Gently releasing down, barely like touching the floor just to lift again. So you might start to feel a stretch in your front left thigh and hip flexor. That's kind of what we're looking for. And we're giving the ankle an opposite stretch from the deep toe stretch that we were just kind of kneeling in. Like if the kitty sat on your desk and you'd be like, yep, can't move you now. Oh my gosh, yeah, no, you can't interrupt. That's like a law of dog owners. You can't wake up your dog when it's sleeping. Just because it sleeps an average of like 20 hours a day doesn't mean that it doesn't need all of that sleep. 3, 2, 1. Alright. So I'm going to press it up to I'm just going to be like nice and slow with this movement, bringing it up to shoulders up over hips. And I'm going to press into my front foot to come up to more like a wedding proposal type pose. And I'm going to let the hips sink down and forward. So you might have to adjust how far, like how close or how far this knee is. The further back, the deeper the stretch in this front hip and this left hip. So we're sending it back. This is just taking a little bit of strength for me to press back, kind of getting out of the stretch, and then I'm pressing into the stretch. Up, back. If you don't have a yoga mat and you're just working with like a towel or a blanket, this is one that you would want to just place the towel or blanket below your back knee, below your left knee. It's a little extra cushion, especially if you're like super bony like me. Alright, so we're letting the hips sink forward, bring the hands down to frame this front foot, and extend the right leg long, sending the hips up and back. Point and flex the foot. Give it a windshield wiper side to side. And the hips are still up over this bent knee. You're going to take a deep breath in. Get tall, lengthen out the spine, and exhale to hinge over this extended leg. It's called Ardha Hanumanasana, half split pose. So it's almost like I'm trying to get my nose to touch my toes, even though they won't. That's just the direction of the body. As my right hip pulls back, left hip pulls forward, so I'm not letting myself open up into like a gymnast split. I'm keeping my hips square, so I can really focus on stretching behind here in the hamstring. Then we'll bend back into this right knee. Send the leg back through extended tabletop, and knee touches down, regular tabletop pose. Left foot steps up between the hands. We'll tuck the right toes under, send the legs straight, find that spacing. Left knee's over left ankle, and then here we just rock it back, forward and back, forward and back. So we need to open up the space in the calf muscle, back of the right leg. If you're not feeling a stretch in your right calf, your knee might not be as straight as you think it is. So straighten it out even more by bringing the back of the knee towards the ceiling. And I'm really pressing my heel back. Gently release the knee down to the mat, untuck my toes, so the shoelace part of my foot's pressing into the ground, and it presses into the ground so hard that the knee lifts. I gently lower and lift. So my left knee is over left ankle. If you're finding that that's not true, your knee's past it, just scooch your right foot even further back. So I'm focusing on stretching out the front right thigh and hip flexor. 3, 2, 1. I'll let that knee touch down. Bring the chest up over the hips for Asana. And then send the hips up and back, like proposal pose. Send the hips down and forward for the stretch. The inhale lifts me up, and the exhale deepens into the stretch. I do want a cat though. I mean, I think I would have be one of those people with 10 cats, but I'm super allergic to them, so I don't even have one. So I just have dogs. They multiply. And last time, knee comes forward, the hips come down. We'll release the hands down to frame the front foot and extend, get the knee on there. Extend the left leg long. Sending the hips up and back over that kneeling knee. Point and flex the foot. And windshield wiper the feet side to side. And back to center, heel is flexed, or the foot is flexed, toes pressing up as if they're pointing towards your nose. The left hip is pulling back, right hip's pulling forward. Take a deep breath in to lengthen in the spine. And exhale, fold over the extended leg. Ardha Hanumanasana, half split pose. So Hanuman, the Hindu god that this pose is named after, is the monkey-faced god, and he's a great friend to humanity. He has a great sense of humor. He helps out Rama during his epic quest to save Sita from one of the demon kings, or I think it might be the, capital T, the demon king. And he is shown or depicted in lots of Hindu art and Indian art in a full split pose. So this pose is called half split pose, is named after him. Just got one more deep breath here. Keep checking out shelters. Might be a Sphinx out there or a Maine Coon. They're not 100% hypoallergenic, but it helps when they have lowered amounts of enzyme humans are allergic to. Thanks. Yeah, I've seen those. I've actually hung out with a Maine Coon before, and they're awesome. They're the size of Lucy. They're gigantic. Let's bend in the left knee. Right toes tuck under, and we're stepping it forward this time. Heel toe the feet out to the edges of the mat. So pinky side edges of the feet are towards the mat. And here we'll let the head nod yes. The knees can be a little or a lot bent. Give it a couple bends. So the head nods yes. Let it shake no. Grab opposite elbows for ragdoll, creating a frame for the head. You can give yourself a little free movement here. Allow yourself to rock side to side, maybe making figure eights or bobbing. There's really no wrong answer here. You just want to make sure your knees are bent enough that you don't feel any pain in your hamstrings or your lower back. If you do, just bend your knees more. You can literally have your belly hanging out on your thighs here. That's fine too. Just letting the weight of the head help elongate the spine here. back to center. Heel toe the feet in together, big toes come to touch, a little space between the heels so the ankles don't knock together, and inhale to a halfway lift, hands on shins. Crown of the head towards the front of the room, tail going towards the back. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale rolls you all the way up to stand, arms sweep up when you get there. And exhale, hands to heart center. All right, let's see if I can adjust accordingly. Just the doges. Yeah, it works. Okay, great. So, we are in Tadasana, standing at the top of the mat. Hands come to heart center, right knee pulls in towards the body. One-legged Tadasana. Deep breath in here. And on the exhale, hinge on the left hip. Head comes forward as right leg reaches back like a seesaw. Trying to make the letter T with the body. Just a moment here in Warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3, crown of the head reaching towards the front of the room, the eyes are down towards the floor, hips are square with one another, and the heel, right heel is reaching back towards the wall behind you. Still breathing fully, we'll bend in the left knee to land in a high lunge. Nice. All right, so whether you landed in perfect positioning or not, just check in. Left knee over left ankle, right heel pressing back behind you. Left hip pulls back, right hip presses forward. So what happens is you want to fall into that split. The left leg wants to go forward, but we're counteracting that. It's like a scissoring action in towards center. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. And exhale, shoulders melt away from the ears. There's a high lunge. You can drop the right heel down so the foot comes to a 45-degree angle, like your right toes are facing the front right corner of your mat. Warrior 1. Hips stay square here. You might feel a little stretch in this right calf muscle. So it should feel like a stable stance. If you're feeling wobbly, then really pull back that left hip. Press forward the right hip. A nice strong foundation. And nice and wide. So if you're on a balance beam, like if you look down, your feet should be at least hips distance apart, widthwise, closer to the long edges of the mat. Full breath here. Then we'll extend the left leg long. Hands come down onto the hips. Deep breath in. And exhale, hinge it forward. Hips stay square. Keep pulling back the left hip. Back, back, back. As the head comes forward like a halfway lift, like length in the spine. And release the hands down to stacked blocks. Yoga blocks or the floor. For our Parsvottanasana pyramid pose. So just as before, we're elongating the body like nose towards toes in this fold over the front left leg. Still the left hip's pulling back. Keep pulling it back, keep keeping the hips straight, even if it feels like you're not in the poses, even if it feels like you're not in the bend as much. If you open the hips, we're keeping the hips closed because we're focusing on the goal, or like the purpose is to get a nice deep stretch in the whole back left leg. It's not to get the head to the knee. Does that make sense? The goal is to find the edge of your flexibility in this posture, in your calf, in your hamstring, maybe in your glute where you're feeling it, not in arriving at one body part touching another. If you've got space to play here and you're like, oh, where should I put my hands? What if I don't have blocks and I can't reach the floor? Where should I put my hands? You can keep your hands on your hips. And that's a real deep stretch because you're using your weight, like your weight's going to be holding you in here. If you've got even more space to play, you can lift up the toes, but not at the expense of keeping the hips square. So we just got one more breath here, wherever you're at. And we'll bend into the front left knee deep enough so that you can bring your hands down to frame that foot. Rotate or pivot onto the toes of the right foot. We'll send that leg up to the sky. So we're working on straightening out this front leg and reaching the right foot up towards the sky. Now the hips can open up however you'd like. It's called half split or standing split. And it's like there's this helium in your heel, reaching you up, up, up. And here you can play with a little bit of balance. So we're breathing still fully, even in the inversion, even like past like the fear of falling because your hands are on the ground, you're fine. Let the head be heavy as if your forehead is going to touch your toes. You might start playing with floating the hands up. It's got one more breath here. Then bend deep in this left knee to touch the right foot down next to the left. Inhale to a halfway lift, hands on shins. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale rolls you all the way up to stand. Arms sweep up when you get there. And exhale, hands to heart center, Tadasana, mountain pose. And take a deep breath here. Let it go. And then the left knee pulls in towards the body. One-legged Tadasana. Next exhale, we hinge forward. As the head comes forward, the left leg reaches back for our warrior 3. Crown of the head is reaching towards the front of the room, so the gaze is straight down. So we keep a nice length in the spine. No need to arch. Left heel is reaching back, back, back. It's like you're making the letter T rather with your body. And then we'll gently bend in the right knee to float the left foot down to the best of our ability. Landing in this high lunge, and then just adjust accordingly. So I usually bring my right foot a little bit closer to the right, making sure that knee is up over the ankle. Hands come down to the hips, and just checking in and pulling the right hip back, pressing the left hip forward, keeping the hips square to the short end of the mat. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. And on an exhale, you can drop the left heel down so the foot's at a 45-degree angle. If these toes are facing the top left corner of the mat. And pressing down strong through the heel, maybe getting a stretch in this calf from that. Let the shoulders melt away, and just gazing forward at your drishti, your focal point, like where your eyes come to rest. And hands come down onto the hips. Extend the right leg long. Deep breath in to get tall. Squeeze the muscles of this leg. So squeezing the thigh muscles, you'll feel your knee actually lift and kind of like lock into place. And we'll hinge it forward from the hips. And maybe the hands release down. One side might be different than the other. For Parsvottanasana, pyramid pose. Keeping the left hip pulling back, back, back. The right hip is pulling back, back, back. Left hip is pressing forward, keeping the hips nice and square. Focusing on the stretch behind the calf muscle and the hamstring. Just like our Ardha Hanumanasana, just like our half split pose. last breath here. And allow the right knee to bend deep enough that your hands can come down to frame the front foot. We'll pivot onto the tiptoes of the back of the left foot, and then that left foot reaches up towards the sky, extending the right leg straight. Balance or standing split. So the head is heavy here. So once again, we're using the head almost like a seesaw. The weight of the head counterbalances the weight in the foot. And it doesn't matter how high that leg goes up. It's not about like what it looks like at all. It's about the stretch that you're getting in the standing balancing foot, the strength that you're building in the standing ankle, and kind of like the fear that you get to overcome from being inverted, from having your heart higher than your head, your hips higher than your heart. Deep breath in here. And then bend in that right knee. Left foot touches up, or touches down next to the right foot. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale rolls you all the way up to stand. Heavy head comes up last. Arms sweep up when you get there. And exhale, hands to heart center. Alright, let's shake it out. Just giving the hands a shake, giving the legs a shake. That was like pretty fiery little sequence that we got there going on. So sometimes when we face challenges, it can feel frustrating if we don't feel like we're performing at the level that we'd like to or that we expected to. Especially when we're trying new things, we'll like see somebody else and be like, oh, that's easy. And then go to do it. And then when we can't, it can feel really disappointing. And I think it's really important to kind of experience those moments as much as possible. Not as much as possible, but like regularly, systemically in a safe space. And yoga is a great place for that. Because it shows us, like a petri dish, a little experimentation lab, yoga mat, kind of shows us how we react to challenges and frustrations and discomfort. And there's nobody around to see you or judge you, just yourself, which, you know, potentially is the harshest judge there is. Lifting the heels and dropping the feet with the knees nice and bent. To bring a jiggle, a shake to the whole body, just lifting and dropping my shoulders as well. So I know I hold a lot of tension in my upper back and neck, so I'm using this as an opportunity to let that go. So yes, your buttons will be pushed in yoga class, but it's all intentional. Different things are gonna, you know, resonate with different people, and it's not at your expense. There's nobody around to laugh at you, or I'm not trying to trick you or anything like that. It's just for you to observe your own self. And then, okay, so you figure it out. You're like, okay, I get angry when I don't do something I think I can do, or I shut down before even trying. If I see something that looks hard, I don't even try. And then if that's something that you want to change or shift your response, what do you do about it? Well, that's why we practice our pranayama, our breathing techniques. It's going to help us build confidence and stillness, calmness in these moments of frustration, of defeat, of fear. So that's kind of the whole jam here. We just got a little bit more shaking out. Shaking is just all about relieving stress in the body. Sometimes we get these like spots of built up tension called samskaras. Blocked energy, that's how yoga philosophy would explain it. And this is an opportunity to like let that go and shake it off. So you can start exhaling through the mouth. And then we've got our pranayama, our next pranayama breathing technique is called breath of joy. This is all about letting it go, just letting things go. Doesn't even matter what it is. You can have something in mind, or whatever shows up will show up. And it's 4-part breath. It's 3 consecutive sips of air in with no exhale. So through the nose and a big ha out through the mouth. So inhaling, the arms sweep forward. Inhale, another third of the air in, arms sweep out. Inhale, another third of the air in, arms sweep forward. And a big ha through the mouth, arms sweep back. We've got 10 or so of those. Mindful that you're not going to hit any of the furniture or the walls in your house. In, ha, in, ha, in, ha, in, ha. Ha! 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 3 more. If you haven't joined in yet, now's your chance. Ha! Ha! Last one, make it count. Ha! Ha! Okay. Feet come nice and wide, stable stance. Hand on your belly, hand on your heart, and eyes can close. We'll take a moment here to arrive, to observe what was created. Taking the snow globe that is your body and giving it a righteous shake. Now we pause to observe where that glitter dust settled. What was revealed? What shows up for you when you allow yourself to take up space and to be loud? Or what shows up as resistance, keeping you from fully participating? Not good or bad, not right or wrong, just something to notice. We'll gently blink the eyes open. We'll take a sip of water, towel off any sweat. Feeling good? Feeling good, Greg? Good. Okay, I really need my yoga mat for this next part, but I think I'm just gonna, I don't know, what am I gonna do? They're so cute. Roll out my blanket. Okay. Alright, if you're already on the floor, you just stay there. We'll meet you. If you're not, you can come down with me. So walk to the edge of your mat. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, bend in the knees deep, deep, so deep that you come to seated. Alright? Feet come together, allow your knees to splay apart. Give your feet a little massage here. You guys know me, any excuse for a little self-massage. Until I teach the dogs how to give me foot massages. Alright, and we're going to grab onto the feet nice and strong, onto the ankles. We're going to sit up super tall. Deep breath in. And exhale, hinge forward, belly, chest, head, elbows press into the knees to give the hips a stretch. So we've been stretching the hips all class. forward and back through lunges and splits. And now we're giving the hips a 90-degree different stretch out to the sides. So I'm pressing my knees down towards the ground, but my goal isn't to get my knees to touch the, My goal isn't to get my knees to touch the ground. My goal is to find that edge in my hip flexibility. Knees towards the ground is just the direction of the body so I can find that edge. Let the shoulders be relaxed away. And we'll sit back upright. Bring the knees in towards the chest. And today let's just roll it back. Make sure there's no pets or water bottles behind you. Give your knees a hug in towards the chest. Give yourself a rock side to side. Do you guys all need, everybody needs a bath. Just give a little lower back massage. We'll let the feet touch down to the ground. Heels in close to the hips. Tuck the shoulders under. Then we're going to lift the hips up off the ground, peeling the spine up off the ground, one vertebra at a time. Hips rise, belly, or rather hips, lower back, middle back, upper back, and shoulders. First, Setu Bandhasana bridge pose. I'm squeezing through the glutes to get even more lift in the hips, really opening up these hip flexors that we've been working on opening all class. Knees stay over the ankles. Don't allow the knees to splay out or knock in. You can even interlace the fingers below the hips and press the fists and the triceps into the ground. Fully breathing here, breathing so deep that you can see your belly rise and fall past the tip of your nose. One more deep breath here, really pressing to the deepest expression of your bridge pose. We'll gently unlace the hands, untuck the shoulders, and roll down one vertebra at a time. Back to the ground. Knees come in towards the chest. We'll gently release the knees over to the right, stacking left hip over right hip, and left arm opens up like the letter T. Make sure the arm's not up by the head or down by the hips. It's straight out 180 degrees. And you can even look over this left hand to complete the spinal twist, Supta Matsyendrasana. I'm just pressing my left shoulder down towards the ground. The rest of the body is completely relaxed. Bring the head back up through center, bring the knees up through center, and gently release the knees over to the left, stacking right hip over left hip, right arm opens up like the letter T. And you might look over this extended right arm just to give the neck an equal stretch. Letting my left hand rest lightly on my right knee. I'm not pulling down or anything. Really, there's no effort in the body at all besides the right shoulder pressing down towards the ground. Otherwise, we just allow breath and gravity to do the work in this pose for us. Setu Matsyendrasana, or Supta Matsyendrasana rather. Supine twist. Head comes up through center, knees come up through center. And just notice, is there any last wiggle or stretch or pose that your body's asking for? All class we tell our body what to do, and now we just ask back. Is there anything we can do for it? Doesn't have to have a fancy yoga name, doesn't have to have a name at all. Just ask your body what you can do for it. Likely it will not answer in words. So I'm just kind of learning that language so that we can work with our bodies as a tool to more easily navigate through this life and all the circumstances it throws our way. Working with our bodies so that instead of our bodies becoming a circumstance or something to deal with, it's more of a symbiotic relationship. To work more as not just a vehicle to get us to where we want to be, but actually help inform some of the decisions of where we'd like to go. And this preparation for Savasana might also look like grabbing a blanket or a towel, or rather a blanket or socks, as your body temperature will likely lower in this next exercise, this next meditation. Wrapping up whatever movements you're in. And setting up for your Shavasana, final relaxation pose. The legs extend down the length of the mat, feet at least a foot apart. Legs so relaxed that the feet naturally splay apart. Shoulders tuck under to support the chest. Arms release down by the sides, palms face open, a symbol, a mudra of receptivity. Allow yourself to receive the full benefits of all your effort here today. And the head comes neutral. If laying like this brings pain to your lower back, bend, deepen your knees. Feet come wide to the outside edges of the mat and drop the knees together for broken bridge. We lift the hips up, give them a tuck so that the lower back is nice and long as you lay it back down onto the ground. And then release any tension or effort from the legs. It's completely held up by gravity. Traditionally, it's practice with the legs down the length of the mat, but you do what works for your body. The gaze is up towards the ceiling, and the invitation is to have the eyes closed, if that's comfortable for you. Come up to seated so I can more easily guide you through this meditation, but feel free to stay laying down. And we'll start this practice just as we started our grounding meditation with 3 cleansing breaths, in through the nose and out through the mouth. The shoulders just stay relaxed this time around. Shavasana is an opportunity to integrate all that was practiced, all that you're creating, just like the end of the night, the end of the day. Sleeping helps integrate short-term memories into deeper levels of your mind, into long-term memories, into actual knowledge. So Shavasana helps turn movements and practices and exercises from short-term experiences to long-term wisdom in the body. There are 3 breaths. Audible sighs are invited and encouraged. Allow the breath to continue in and out through the nose if that's available. allowing your exhalations to become longer and deeper than your inhalations. Invite space between top and bottom teeth as the jaw hangs heavy and the tongue falls away from the roof of the mouth, a symbol of chitta vritti, monkey mind. We're just inviting that monkey to sit this one out. Eyes rest heavy in their sockets, eyelids just barely touching. And the space between the eyebrows broadens as all the muscles in the forehead relax. Muscles surrounding the ears with all their wrinkles and folds, all the way deep into the ear canals. Relax. Muscles in the back of the head, top of the head, hairline all rest. The whole body rests heavy here, supported by the ground below. Bring the attention to the breath entering and exiting your nose. Air entering cool through the nostrils, hitting the back of your throat, and filling belly and chest. And as it exits, warmer, perhaps you even feel the air brushing against your upper lip. Imagine a blue sky and ocean below. Peaceful waves rolling through. Even as the sky darkens, and the wind picks up, and the waves begin crashing down, if you were to dive down below the surface towards the center of the ocean, the sea is undisturbed and calm. No matter how dark or scary the circumstances of the sky, no matter how chaotic, how violent the reaction of the waves, the ocean is whole, perfect, and at peace at its core. Notice if even for a moment that inner dialogue was quiet. Notice if in your breath there's ease. Notice if in your body the places of tension have found space. And the places of restlessness have found peace. Allow for everything that did and did not happen in class today. And know that in yoga, practice makes practice. Nothing more and nothing less. Allow your inhalations to become longer and deeper than your exhalations. As fingers begin to wiggle and toes begin to curl, that feeling of heaviness replaced with a feeling of lightness. The attention is brought to the front side surface of the body. Head can gently rock side to side. And arms reach up overhead for a full body stretch. Allow your knees to bend and roll over to whichever side feels natural. Landing in a fetal position, you can use your bottom arm as a pillow. Fully released and fully supported by the ground below you, bring to mind any intention or dedication you set for class today, or take this opportunity to set one now. And if that intention inspires you, take it with you off the mat and into the world. Allow it to affect you and the people around you for the rest of your day. With eyes still closed or gently lowered, press your hands into the ground to come up to a seated position, just like how we started class. Hands come to meet at heart center in Anjali Mudra. Today we worked on a series of leg and hip stretching postures, as well as some neck and wrist resiliency. The first Namaste is said silently to yourself, thanking your body for the effort it put into class. And the second Namaste is said out loud to everyone that held this space. Namaste. Thank you, thank you, thank you to everyone who joined me today. I hope you find or found something that serves you. Namaste, Bodhi. And Jason on Facebook. Cool. Namaste, Greg. And Sancho Bermuda. How was class for you, Sancho? Was that your first class with me? I know it's like a little bit, probably a little bit different than other yoga classes you've been in since there's like yelling involved. Mel, namaste. How are you feeling? How was that for you? It's the second. Oh, okay, so you already had your, you probably already kind of knew what was coming. But I do really appreciate you guys for joining me in my practice, and it keeps me honest with my daily practice to be here with all of you and to show up at the same time. My favorite part Mel says, fave part was learning about the half split pose being named after Hanuman. Love the Ramayana. Yeah. So, there's so much good lore. So many good stories. But, yeah, a lot of the postures are, well, a lot of them are just named straightforward, like Janu Shirshasana, forehead to knee pose, you know, or Paschimottanasana, head to feet pose. But there are also a bunch of fun postures that are named after gods and goddesses in the lore. Sancho says, it was okay. I'm quitting coffee and starting a new morning routine. Woo! Good for you, Sancho. That is, cheers to that. I'm drinking tea right now. Are you doing no caffeine at all? Or are you just doing no coffee? Thank you, Bodhi. Thank you for dropping the tip information into the chat. Tips are super, super appreciated. They really helped me out last month. Because of you guys, I was able to I paid my electric and internet bill with just tips from you guys, which is so boss. Like, I don't know. It was like really validating and encouraging. And this month, we're saving up for a crystal bowl. Actually, we hit that. So I had to go out and actually buy one. So we're going to be upgrading our singing bowls. Not upgrading. It's a parallel move. Same quality, just different material. So our friend Ghost Floof can come back and practice with us again. So he has tinnitus from past experiences. And the metal it like triggers his tinnitus, so we're getting a crystal bowl. So yay, thank you. Sancho, this is interesting. Your experience level is very high. I'm only drinking caffeine on weekends. Word. My experience level with coffee? No, with yoga. Yeah, I've been let's see, this summer will be 17. Is that true? Hold on. 16. 17? 16 years of practicing. How old am I? I'm turning 30. I started practicing when I was 13. 17? Jesus. Yeah, so I've been doing this for a long time and I've been obsessed with it basically since I started. So, yeah. But, yeah, you're in good hands. But also I can't see you. That's why I'm always like, oh my gosh, please take your time. Because if I was like in person, I could be like, oh, wrong alignment or move it this way. But since I'm not, I always just want you guys to take it easy and definitely challenge yourself, you know, get out of your comfort zone, but I never want you to be in danger of injuring yourself or anything like that. Bodhi, it's just getting a different flavor with tea versus coffee, for sure. Well, so most days I'm not drinking caffeinated tea. I usually tell you guys I'm drinking like licorice tea or rooibos or chamomile, but today we're doing green tea because it's Monday and I stayed up super late last night. By super late, I mean it was like midnight, guys. It was like past midnight, which is really late for me. Mel, thank you. I appreciate holding space with y'all. Fabulous way to start my week. Well, we appreciate you being here. Each and every person's presence really makes a difference, and your positive presence in chat helps as well too. Sancho, your teaching style is very good for beginners and experts. You used to have dreads in your profile pic. Yeah, I had grown out my hair for a few years and recently cut it. I like it so much. Yeah, it's so, what's it called? So I had not cut my hair for 7 years and I had really long locks, like they were down past my hips. You can see pictures of me with my hair long on my Instagram. Yeah, I loved my hair. But that's why I know all of these neck rehab things, is because I had such bad neck pain and like migraines from the weight of my hair. And it was like totally real. I never got like extensions or anything. Fairly low maintenance even when it comes to that stuff. So it just all naturally just grew out over the course of 7 years. And yeah, so I decided to cut it last year during the our Extra Life fundraiser. So My husband, Daydream Boy, here on Twitch, him and his friends at Super Crouch Jump and the Drunken Spartans and all of their group of friends, they always do a fundraiser at the end of the year in November called Extra Life for the Kids. And it's really important to us. We've been doing it for 6 years, maybe 7. I think this is going to be the 7th year, and it's like very personal to us. And well, I'll let him tell his story, but my husband spent a lot of time in the hospital as a kid. So raising money for children's hospitals hits close to home. And this year, I said that if we raised $1,000, I think it was $2,000, that I would cut off my locks live on Livestream during our 24-hour stream. And we raised $22,000. So I really had to keep my word, and he shaved my head on stream, and that's why I don't have dreadlocks anymore. But it was awesome. It was totally worth it. That's why my hair is like in an awkward like sheep phase. It's not terrible. This is literally how I woke up. I'm not like super interested in learning to style it. Functional Alcoholic, sometimes he hops in on chat. He's one of my like best friends IRL, and he's always like, let me style your hair, and I'm like, sure, but like I'm never gonna buy those products. I'm just gonna probably let it grow out until it's too long and I have to dreadlock it again. Oh, the metal bowl versus the crystal bowl. It's not an upgrade. It's a different flavor. Yeah, exactly. It's like just a different instrument. But I'm excited to go and get one and play with one. Wow, I think my hair was 3 or 4 years. It was past my shoulders. Yeah, mine was past my hips. Like, it was, I don't even know. I don't know. I think it's cute. Thank you. Yeah, I like, it's, you know. Oh, if you go on my Instagram, you'll also see my head, like, shaped down to, like, a 1 on a buzzer. Now it's, like, I'm getting curls. I feel like a sheep waiting to be shorn. But I'm like, no. I just gotta get through this phase. Or, like, sometimes when I get out of the shower, I feel like Deku from My Hero Academia. It's very cute. I like it. Thank you guys. You guys are so nice. Yeah, my hair was so long, guys. It's hard for me to express to you how different my neck and upper back feel post cutting it off. It looked super cool and badass before. Now it's more cute and pixie like, thanks. I've gotten that reaction actually, that feedback in the past. I have this one picture of, I don't know if it's going to be here, so I'm not going to go crazy looking for it, but I'm going crazy looking for it. Yeah, you can't really see how long it is, but that's what I looked like before. It's funny too because my hair is so much lighter now because so much darker now because my locks were so like bleached out from the sun. Ghost Floof, Tiger Girl, that's me, Ethereal, that's Bodhi. We were just talking about how we've officially made enough money through tips to buy a crystal bowl. That's for you. So it shouldn't, what's it called? It's not made of metal, it's made of crystal. So you won't have to leave during Savasana because we're going to, what's it called? Yeah, so we can test it out. That's my theory. I'm like 90% sure that should work. I mean, there's like a 10% of like, I literally don't know, but it won't be metal, so it should be better and not like trigger your tinnitus. Or whoever else is who is also feeling the same way as you but not speaking up. We're actually just wrapping up. Should go say hi to the Great Kind, yoga with Jen. We did yoga with Jen. We can go say hi to Sets and Reds. Or Mom, it's Monday. How are you guys feeling about a Monday Mom Furious raid? I'm feeling, how are you doing, Ghost Floof? please don't concern yourself on one viewer here. Go nuts. No, I value your experience. That's not where I was going with that sentence. Yes, I value your experience in my class. You're one viewer. I have like 6 viewers usually. So like you're like a 1/6 of my viewership, my friend. Your comfort is my priority during Savasana, since your discomfort during movement is my priority during yoga. Unlikely to be lots of folks like me. I know you weren't going there. I'm happy. You're too sweet to care about me alone. I care about all of you guys. For sure. I mean, half of you guys I know in real life, and the other half, you're like my quarantine stream friends, and that means a lot to me. So I really do miss my yoga studio life when I had friends that I could practice with, and then in real life I get to like massage their heads in Savasana and like help pull their hips up and back in downward facing dog. Sad. Yeah, Bodhi contributed like half of the funds to your crystal bowl fund, so I'll have to get a really good one. I found some stores that are in my neighborhood that sell crystal bowls, because I live in a super hippy dippy part of San Diego. All like tie-dye shop, like head shops and tie-dye stores, and like surf shops. But I found some crystal shops, and I haven't gone to them in person yet, but I think I will today. And yes, so I'm gonna like literally DM you, Ghost Foof. Like I'm gonna send you a whisper and be like, it's acquired, come to class. Potentially tomorrow, but I don't know. I don't want to talk until I actually own the thing, you know? But yes, it is Monday. Well, we'll see when it arrives, whether it's gonna be wee-oo or wee-oo or just wee. Yeah. I feel it's a different sound for sure. We'll see what size, which kind of bowl I can find as well. But yeah. So we're gonna raid Monday Mum Furious raid, and let's just go over and say hi. He's gonna be pretty high energy, but I like that for a Monday. Bye, have a good day. Bye, love you. And Allender, lovely people. Somebody told me the other day, they're like, you're like the most tolerable person I've met. And I was just like, I don't know if I should be offended or like really complimented. I was like, I guess I'll be really complimented. They're like, no, everyone else is just intolerable. And I'm like, wow, you're just tolerating me. That's so interesting. I know so much more about our relationship now. Anywho, let's go say hi to Gatina and Mum. And I'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place. And don't forget, Thursday, we have a chair yoga special. So bring a chair, bring yourselves, and I'll see you tomorrow. Namaste, my friends.